Hey y'all. Today I wanted to share with you a homeschool curriculum that we are going to be incorporating into our days this next homeschooling year. And y'all, all things home are so important to me. Homemaking, homesteading, homeschooling. I am always working to make our home a place that is peaceful and comfortable and tailored to our family's needs, whether it's systems and routines, the way we approach chores, or the way we're learning, the way my children learn best, the way I teach best. And while we have some things that we know work really well for us, I'm always open to new things that may make our days even better, even smoother. And that's kind of how this curriculum came into my life, so to speak. I'd actually seen Campfire Curriculums back in probably 2021 when they were very new. And I saw it and I thought, well, that looks really interesting. Those are some really interesting topics. It's really beautiful curriculum. And we have been doing some unit studies. That's what these are. And we have been doing a different unit study that we enjoyed, but it had become really expensive to print it off, especially for a large family, because printing gets expensive quickly. And so when I saw it, I thought, well, that looks really interesting, but I just don't know that it's feasible for us to print all that off right now. And so I didn't really research into it too deeply. And over the years, I would see it pop up here and there and think, well, that's really beautiful. Wow, it looks really interesting. I just don't know that it's feasible for our family. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, they reached out and asked if we wanted to try their curriculum, to let them know what we thought about it, to let you all know what we thought about it. And I told them exactly what I just told you. And they reached back out and said, well, actually, we encourage families to either pull the unit up on a device, screencast it to your TV, and sit down and go through the unit that way. And everyone just have their own spiral notebook that you keep notes in or do any work in. And I thought, well, that sounds doable. Let me look into this a little bit more. And I loved what I saw. And looking at it that way, it took it from something that I thought was going to be really expensive to something that was incredibly affordable. Some of these units, I think a full unit is somewhere around like $30, and you get everything from the instructions on how to use it to every age range, the core connections, so you can make this a full curriculum. The only thing you'd have to add on top of it is math. And when you look at it that way, and all you gotta do is buy a spiral notebook, I was like, well, this is actually incredibly affordable and totally doable. And they had some units that I was beyond excited about. I'm going to tell you what units we chose, and you're going to know why, and you're going to know why we're so excited about them. They're perfect fits for our family, but they have a wide range of topics. Whatever your children are interested in, you're going to find some things that will be perfect for your family and the things you want to learn. Some really important history related topics, science related topics, and you can use these. So you can use this curriculum a wide variety of ways. You can just sit down and read from it for 15-20 minutes every morning or afternoon, something like that. Just add it into your day that way to learn a little bit more about the topic. You can use it as a science specific curriculum. So you pick a topic that's very science heavy and use it as a science curriculum, or a history heavy topic and use it as your history curriculum. Or when you purchase the unit, you get all of your age ranges for the unit, and you get the core connections. And what that is anything that's not heavily covered in the original unit. They're adding in those subjects to make sure you're getting everything covered. And the only other thing you would have to add in is math. So say you're using a unit that's a heavy science unit, you get to the end of your lesson, and then you go to that core companion, and it's going to add in some history and some language arts to make it more complete, if that's how you wanted to use it. My number one advice for homeschooling families is whatever curriculum you're using, make the curriculum work for you, not you for the curriculum. And these units, you can absolutely make it work however you want to incorporate it into your days. I'm going to show you some screenshots of the units that we chose, how they're laid out, kind of talk you through that and about why we've chosen to use this, how we're going to use it in our homeschool days. But the units that we have decided to use, now we're using some of their older units, some of their newer units, some mini units, some full units. One, because it was topics that we were really interested in. And two, so that after we've really used these, I can come back and let you know what we think about wide variety or range when it comes to topics, or how old the unit was, how things have changed over the years, and kind of update you on that as well. But today I really want to show you the unit and talk to you about why we've chosen to use it and how we're going to use it for our family. So the units we've chosen are Surviving Off the Land, Natural Medicine, the Holocaust, and Zoology. There's a bunny rabbit out in the yard right in front of this window. Got a little distracted. You're going to get 3 different age groupings to choose from. Everybody's going to be learning about the same topic. Everybody's still going to be sitting down together, one room schoolhouse, if you will, to do these lessons. But there's an early, so that's your pre-reader, growing, that is your elementary and middle school, and then advanced, which is your high school to adult. And when you pull up the lesson, there's black text, and that's going to be the same for, say you've got the growing unit and the advanced unit. The black text is going to be the same, and that's what y'all are going to sit down and read together. Over on the sidebar, there might be some more age-specific information. So the advanced book may have a little extra information, a little bit deeper information for them. Some of the activities might be a little bit different for the different age groups, but the main core of the lesson is going to be the same for everyone. So you can sit down and do that together. And then like my boys, one's going into 5th grade and one's going into 8th grade, but they're both going to be doing that growing unit. So they're going to be doing the exact same unit. I can just tailor and fine tune some things for their needs or their skill sets as we go through it. This is a very reading intensive curriculum, and that's purposeful. There's not a lot of worksheets, and I've heard them say that their thought process behind that is when your child gets to college or to learn a trade or to a new job, they're not going to have worksheets put in front of them. They're going to need to listen and absorb the information, take good notes so that they can pull information from those notes when they need it. And that's how this curriculum is set up. There's also some really good hands-on activities, projects, and experiments, things that are very purposeful and intentional. So you've heard it, and now you're using your hands to do something, put it to use. There are some crafts and things that are just for fun, but the activities are very purposeful. This is also an open and go curriculum. There's not a lot of pre-planning that needs to be done by me, and in the season of life that I'm in, I can really appreciate that. We just open up the lesson and we get started. When it comes to those projects and things, a lot of what we need is things we already have around the house. So very much open and go, and I like that. They have things incorporated into the lessons like cool teacher moments, which is fun things you can stop and do with the kids. There's some QR codes that will take you to like pre-screened videos that are related to the topics to kind of break up some of the reading. Some of the lessons can be pretty long, and you can do them all in one day if you want, or you can split it up. Take a 12 lesson unit and you could push through and get it done in 12 days, or you could break it up and make it go over 24 days or 30 days, whatever works for your family. This is also a Christian curriculum, and there are faith talks, is that what they're called, at the end of each lesson, and it's a Bible lesson essentially, and I like that and appreciate that. There are also some pages at the end of the lessons that are skip if you want pages. So if you have multiple children, then you're probably going to know what I'm talking about. Some kids, you get to the end of the lesson and they're done. They're ready to be just done for the day. And then there are other kids who are asking for more, wanting to learn more, wanting to know more. So if your kiddo's done, you can be done. If they want to know more, if they're asking for more, then you can continue on and do those extra skip if you want pages and give them a little bit extra to soak in and learn. And then when you get to the very end of the lesson, it will tell you to move on to the core connections, which you get when you purchase the download. Every bit of it, all of it you could possibly need, you get. It's yours forever, even if you're starting in the growing age range, and then you want to come back to it later on when you have a high school and look at it a little bit deeper. You have a high schooler and you want to look at it a little bit deeper. you can do that. You're going to have it. So you can circle back and use these again and again. And those core connections are going to add in any of those other subjects that maybe the unit didn't really get very in depth on. If it's a science heavy unit, they'll add in some history and language arts to make sure if you want to use this as a full curriculum, you can. Again, you don't have to. You can do whatever works for you. If you are using the core connections, you'll still need to add in a math. And that kind of brings me to how are we going to use this curriculum this year? So the way we're going to start out our school year is we are going to do these unit studies, and we'll see how long they take, how much we get done in a day. I figure we'll stretch them out and maybe take 2 days per lesson. But we're going to do the lessons and the core connections and do that all together as a family. From the very get-go, my favorite way of schooling has been for us to sit down and do as much as we can as a family. One-room schoolhouse type feel. And I know some people are like, well, how can you make that work if you have a wide range of kids? But just think of it like a one-room schoolhouse. Everyone's learning the same thing. The older ones are just taking it a little bit deeper or learning it on a little bit deeper level or spending a little bit more time on it. So we're going to sit down and do the lesson together, go through the core connections together, and then we're going to be using BJU Press for math. No doubt about it. That's another curriculum that we love, and I can link some videos about BJU Press curriculum, some of their curriculum that we've used, why we love it, but we will always be using BJU Press. So we're using their math, and both of the boys are doing their math online this year. So while Huddy is doing his math online, Easton's going to be working on some reading comprehension. That was something I really wanted him to focus in on this year, so I have something for him related to that. And then when Easton is doing his math online, Huddy is going to do the BJU handwriting. Easton's already worked through all of those. Huddy's still working through them, so he'll be doing that. Love BJU handwriting. So that's kind of what we're thinking. I'm also thinking we're going to do a 4-day school week this year. We're always learning, right? So even if on Fridays we're not opening up our curriculum, we're going to be going on field trips or baking in the kitchen, spending extra time outside. All those things are still learning. When I have, over the years of homeschooling, the more and more I've come to realize that learning and education is about more than sitting in front of a textbook. It's about real life applications. The better and better it's got, the sweeter and sweeter it has gotten. And so, yeah, we're going to have 4 days where we're pulling from our curriculum. And then the 5th day of our week, we're just going to be doing fun things together. Field trips, park days, whatever that might look like. Also wanted to mention that this is a Christian-based curriculum. It is made by a veteran, a U.S. veteran, a dad. So the design of this is also, so if you wanted to sit down together as a family and let this be something dad could do, you absolutely could. Maybe you want to save it for the afternoon and let dad sit down and read through some of this with the kids. You could do that. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Again, make it work for you. But I love those things about this curriculum and kind of the backbone of what it is, why it was created, and the idea behind it. I'll keep you updated as we get into our school year on how this works for us and what it looks like. And yeah, I just thought I wanted to go ahead and get this out because right now is the time where a lot of people are researching curriculum and making some decisions, and I think this is going to be something really good for our family, and I wanted to share it with you. Maybe if you're looking for curriculum or looking at unit studies or trying to prepare for the next school year, hopefully you found this helpful, and maybe you just wanted to sit and hang out with me for a little while. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed sitting down with you for a little while. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.